Над речкой сумерки сгущались, туманы низко опускались.
Здравствуйте, дорогие друзья! Welcome to another lesson of Russian language, the 7th lesson, and this one is called the Sibilants. That is because today it is a group of letters called the sibilant letters, which I want to put on the table. And because I wanted to put them on the table, I came over here to Table Mountain in Cape Town in order to put these letters on table for you. So these letters are quite literally going to be put on table for you to learn this time. The sibilant letters, not only do they represent a similar group of letters regarding to the way you pronounce them, the part of the mouth which you used, the palate and the tongue holding it in a certain way to make a hissing sound, which is why they are called sibilants. It's from the Latin word for hissing, and these sounds are not only together in a group phonologically speaking, but they are also in a group together in that they do not originate as the earlier letters did from the Greek language, however indirectly derived. These letters in fact are said to come in a sense from the Hebrew language. The first one is Shcha. Shcha. This is a very feminine letter. It is the letter which you will find on the ladies' toilets, because it means that it's the first letter in the word for a lady, as we will see later on. But because we don't have all the letters for that yet, I will teach that whole word later. But it is also the word for your wife. And my wife is Moya Zhena. It is also a word for many other interesting things. Желудок is the stomach. Yes? Жопа is your backside, your ass. And жир is fat, greasy fat. So if you want to, you can say где жир? Жир на желудке и на жопе. And the word for a husband is муж. So you can say муж и жена, husband and wife. Okay, next letter in this group is sh. Sh. It is found in a lot of words. Шпион is the word for a spy, for example. We don't like spies in Soviet Union. We only like our ones, what we send out to other places. But don't you send your spions to this country, please. Well, you can send it to this country, but you don't send to Russia, okay? So, okay. So, for example, you can find this word, this letter in a lot of place names. For example, Washington. You can find it in Tashkent. You can find it even in Warsaw, which is Warsaw. And very closely related to sh is a little tail on the end. It gives you sh, sh. And this is a very soupy letter because you find it in all kinds of soups. For example, borscht is the kind of soup which is made from red beetroots. It's a very famous Russian national dish, and very many people have spent years and years perfecting the art of beetroot growing and harvesting, so that the Russian borscht is the best in the world. But we also have a cabbage soup, which is called shchi, and it is also got the same soupy letter in sh. Okay? The word comrade, tavarish, also ends in this letter. So it's a very soupy and very comradely letter. And another thing is, it's a very feminine letter again, because, as I mentioned earlier, the word for woman contains another letter to be learned later, and this is the letter also I had in mind, because woman is женщина. So you see also this letter in the word женщина for a woman. Okay. So the above letters are all taken from the Hebrew letter. They are all derived from the Hebrew letter shin. I understand is the proper correct name of the letter in Hebrew. We come to two more letters in the sibilant range, and one of them is ts. And this letter is very in-your-face letter because it's in your face. The word for face is лицо. Лицо means a person's face, and яйцо means an egg. So to have egg on your face is to have яйцо на лице. There is the word for an end, and that is конец. You often see this in the end of Russian films, конец. And at the end of the word end is the ц. It is also at the end of the working week. Пятница is Friday. And it is at the end of cucumber, огурец. And at the end of the word for a good man, if you want to say somebody is a good man, did something well, want to say well done to somebody, you can say молодец. And so this ц letter is at the end of a lot of things, and it can also be at the beginning of things, at the beginning of a serious relationship. Целую, I kiss. Okay? Целую вас, I am kissing you. Or целую тебя, if it's somebody that you know quite well, which hopefully it is if you're kissing them. Okay? Now the final letter for today. Ch, ch. And this is a letter which you'll find in the missing questions of the question words which Rudyard Kipling had. I have 6 honest serving men. They taught me all I know. Their names are what and why and how and when and where and who. And we've already got when and where and who, because we got already когда, the letters for когда we already know. That's when, yes. Где we already had that word, and кто we had. And how is как дела, how are things, is a way of asking how you are. But we don't have the words for what and why until now. What is что, and also it is, if you take off the stress from что, you have just что. It means that, like in English, that. It is, something which introduces a subordinate clause very regularly. So the word for why is почему, and the answer because is потому что, for this reason that. Okay? So for example, if you say почему ты всегда прав, why are you always right? Потому что я всегда думаю, because I'm always thinking. So this is the examples of the letter ch, and also is found in the word for of course, конечно. And this comes from the word from the end, конец, but if you put a ц and an n afterwards, you can't really say it very well. So ц changes then to a ch, but again you don't even really pronounce it as a full ch in this one case, because it's difficult to say. So instead of saying конечно, people say конечно. Okay, so these letters ц and ch, you can see as well that they are from the Hebrew alphabet. If you know the Hebrew alphabet, you'll recognize in them the letter tzadi. Okay? Before we say до свидания, I would just like to go to the joke. The song tonight, by the way, will be something which I did earlier using the motifs from Ken Banks' response to my earlier video. I did already one response to that, but I also have a very nice alternative response, including my wife, and I'd like to put it on the end of this one. But first, I'd like to tell you a little joke. Here in Cape Town there's very much nice real estate, and close to it, halfway up Table Mountain, you've got a golf course. And on this golf course there was a man and his much younger and very attractive wife were playing a round of golf. She was a beginner, but she was really putting her heart and soul into it. And he was saying to her, honey, don't really overdo it too much, because they are very expensive houses here, and look at these very expensive blocks of flats over there, and you could easily put one ball through the window, and it would be very expensive to put right. well, she doesn't really listen. She's so engrossed in sending that ball as fast as she can that in fact she does go and break the window. So they have to go. They say, we're honest people, we have to own up to this. So they leave the golf course and go and find this place where they broke the window. They count up a couple of floors to the third floor, and then they go up and they knock on the door. Well, the door is actually slightly open. Nobody answers it, but this unopened door they push and say, is anybody home? And then they open the door and they see the broken window. And then next to the broken window they see this like Arabic looking vase all smashed up on the floor, and the man is sitting on the sofa looking at the vase with his head in his hands. And they come and say, sorry, we did this, it is our ball which broke your window and probably your vase. And he looked at them and said, you did this? And they said, yes, we did it. And he looks at them for a few moments and says, well, I have really to be thankful to you because you just released me. I was in that vase for 2,000 years. I am a genie, and I have a wish for you and a wish for you. What would you like from me? Well, the man says, I would really like a lot of money. I don't complain that not having much money, but still it would be nice to have even more, and I would really like an unending supply of money in every bank, in every city, in the world. And the genie says, yeah, okay, it is done. And then to the woman he says, what would you like? And she says, oh, I love real estate. I would really like a beautiful house in every country in the world, with the staff waiting for me, and so that I can just go from place to place and have a beautiful home which is a little bit different in every country. And the genie says, fine, it is done. And now the third wish I reserve for myself, to be free and to be a proper person evermore, never again to go back into a vase. And that is the third wish that I reserve for myself, I'm afraid. You don't mind? And they say, not at all. In fact, we are so happy that we are now so rich and have houses all over the world. We just can't believe it. How will we ever repay you? How can we ever thank you? And the genie says, well, to be honest, there is one thing. And that is, for 2,000 years I was in this vase. All that time I didn't have a woman. And your wife, she's so young, she's so pretty. It would really mean a lot to me after such a long time to be able to make love to your wife. And they are a little bit shocked. They look at each other. I can't believe it. Even here in Cape Town, I'm still getting telephone calls. 1 second.
Halo? No to troszkę, tak. Nie, sobie wideo. No ja muszę pójść, akurat ja czasem nie mierzę obwodów. Więc będę musiał coś znaleźć do jedzenia jednak. Bo chyba jabłko na czczo to nie jest coś dla mnie. Ja bym lepiej przeżył, jakbym powiedział nie na wszystko, ale ten jabłko mi kurczę... Albo gdybym po prostu poszedł spać od razu teraz, bo nie bardzo mi ten. Ale to muszę jeszcze zobaczyć, co jest na jutro. Daj mi może 15 minut, jak przyjdę. Okej, dobra, cześć. It's too bad.
Where was I with this joke? And so they look at one another. They're very shocked, in fact. They're shocked, but they looked at one another and they say, well, we can't really refuse him because look at all we owe him now. Look at what he done for us. All this money and the house in every country. Well, okay, I'm able to do this, I would like to thank him. If that's what it takes to thank him, then okay. I never had sex with a genie, so, So the man says, okay, normally I would not want you to have sex with another man, but look what this man has made us for the rest of our lives. So they agree. Okay, we agree. You can go with my wife. He takes her to the other room, into the bedroom, and for 2 hours he is making really passionate love to her. And she is actually liking it because her husband is a lot older than her, and he's not really able to do these things, And the genie, he can tell she's enjoying it, and he's saying, well, maybe you don't have this very often. And she says, well, that's right, I'm only 25 and my husband is 49. And the genie says, 49 years old, that's a very old age to still be believing in genies. Okay, it's the way I'm telling them. Okay. На сегодня до свидания. we cut to this song.
And her mother responds by yelling, "You!"
Вдоль по улице метелица метет, за метелицей мой миленький идет. Ты постой, постой, красавица моя, дай наглядеться радостно тебя. Ты постой, постой, красавица моя, наглядеться радостно тебя.